Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Winning Mondays with KW Malaysia. My name's Mariah. I'm the Regional Training Coordinator at KW. And I'm super excited to be here to kick off our new season for Winning Mondays. This is the Shift series of tactics to power through a global shift market. Okay, so before we get started, I want to share about an important event that happened this weekend. I think some of you are probably present at this event. Yeah, there was the National Real Estate Awards ceremony, and we had a large group that went to support our winners. So here we have three of our group that all won awards. In the center, we have Elaine Kao. She got the MIEA $1 Million Achiever Award. And we have Brandon over here. He has the Residential Sale of the Year. And also Tim on the left got the MIEA $1 Million Achiever Award as well as the Commercial Sale of the Year. So, I think we're all so proud of them. They've definitely worked hard to achieve this goal. But one thing that I noticed about them, in their sharing and everything, is they are really exemplified our KW values, which is God, family, then business. So of course they're focused, they work hard, they they really go for their goals in business, right? But they actually, it's not their number one. Their number one is not there. Actually, I think God and family is above the business for them. And as I was thinking about that, how important it is that we don't mix up our priorities in life, because if we put the business first, right, we might achieve our goal, but we might achieve it at the expense of our why, of the very reason that we were even trying to achieve the goal in the first place, right? So yeah, I just want to remind you all of this, and just for this week, let's try and put our priorities correct. Yeah, because I think also, if we really also try to put business first, we also might end up with a burnout or, some other terrible consequences. Anyway, yeah, I think things go well when we put God first, then family, then business. So let's just, hearty congratulations to Tim, Elaine, and Brandon. Yeah, just thank you so much to all of you guys. All right. So let's get started. We have a special guest today. Actually, he's not so much of I think I'm more of the guest than he is. Jonathan Lee, our CEO of KW Malaysia. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yes, I thought I was special, but Mariah, maybe I'm not that special.
I know.
Right.
No, you're the main guy. I'm the guest, like interviewing you. I'm a guest interviewer.
Okay.
So who's ready to really hear from John? Like, this is such an important topic, right? Talking about the shift and all that. Who's here really ready to hear from him? Great. If you are, can you put a 1 in the chat? Let's just get our minds sorted out. I don't have any poll for you guys today because I thought today's topic was not really a poll topic. But appreciate if you guys could, just give John, just get your minds ready and be ready to hear what John has to say. All right, cool, awesome. I see lots of readiness. We're ready to go. All right, John, I want to start off by asking the most basic question. What is a shift actually? Like, what is a shift? How do we even know if we're in a shift? Why are we talking about this?
Right, thank you for asking. This is a great book, by the way. If you have not read this book, this is the book for the current season. It's called Shift. I read this book in 2010, in 2009, just right after the global financial crisis. This book was the one that, in fact, I have a special edition one right here, which I don't think anyone of you can get. It's a special edition Shift book, right? I got this book. But this is a great book. It helps me understand in a very simple way what shift is all about. And the shift that we are talking about is the economic shift. Now, we have many shifts in life. I could have a personal shift in my life. I could have a time where I may be sick, or someone in the family is sick. I can't work the way I'm working. There's a shift in my life. But the shift that we are talking about here today is really an economic shift, or a shift that's going to impact the market. So today, I think why I'm saying that there's a shift coming soon is because we have a few things that's coming in place. Number one, we've got a political changes landscape in our country. I mean, we all know that some election is going to happen somehow, somewhere. Who's going to win or not, it doesn't really matter, because it's going to happen. right? The second one is we have a global financial crisis right now. We have a global crisis of inflation, right?
Right.
We still have war in Ukraine and Russia. So there are many factors that's causing a change in the economic landscape. And the normal change for economic landscape is two ways. Either you go super up high, the market is shifting upwards. It's everyone is buying, everyone is doing that. We see that in 2013 and 12 was the biggest upshift in our market. And then you have a downshift, right? There's a financial crisis. The most high impact financial crisis that most of us may not have experienced or may not feel it, and some of us may have feel it, was the 97 crisis, right? So that's the kind of shift that we are seeing. Now, the challenge is we also went through a shift during COVID. It was a abrupt shift. It was a shift that was not expected, right? So that's the idea of shift. And in shift, what happens is, I'm going to share a chart right now.
Okay.
I'm going to share this chart. Shift happens, there is always this law of equilibrium. If you all study economics, right, you will understand what is the law of equilibrium. Equilibrium means the demand and supply comes and meet at each other. That's equilibrium. But before we hit the equilibrium, what will happen? What is the shift, right? I believe, you can see my cursor here. I believe what this chart is showing two lines here. One line is the available income. The other line is the number of agents. Now, what it means in a shifting market, there will be a change of available income in the market and the number of agents. Now, when there's available income, meaning the number of transactions, right? Either it goes up or goes down. Now, when it's a downtime in the economy, put in the chat box right now. Do you think there'll be more transaction or less transaction during a downtime of the economy? Anyone? Less transaction or more? When the market is in a downturn for the economy, it's not bad. Less or more? Put in the chat box. Right. That is less income. So what this law of equilibrium says is, when the shift comes down, when there is a shift in the market, when there are lesser income, there will be lesser agents in the market.
Lesser agent.
Lesser agent, lesser income, because the number of agents in the market is depending on the amount of opportunities available in the market.
Okay.
Right. So when there is more opportunity in the market, there are more agents coming into the business. When there are lesser opportunity in the market, there are more agents leaving the business.
Right.
So this is the law of equilibrium. That's very important in this shift, because when we see a downturn now, we don't know how bad is the downturn. I don't know, but I can foresee there's something going to happen. There is going to be some sort of a downturn, especially when the government starts to relook at the way they look at the budget in the country. And one of the key talks in town is the removal of subsidy for petrol and oil. So you will see that affecting a lot of people. So when you see this, right, what it means is, the challenge is this: we don't know and we cannot feel this until it happens. Meaning, right, we wouldn't know there's lesser transaction until that time pass. And there's a lag between the lesser transaction and number of agents getting out. So the idea in a shift market is how an agent can survive is you are preparing for it. You are anticipating it, because when you anticipate it, you know there are lesser transaction in the market. Things that you do will behave very differently. Does that make sense? So the shift, and then just all the series, the whole series of shifts talks about that. But the idea of a shift is, in our business, is very simple. Lesser transactions means lesser agents, meaning there will be agents that will not hit any transaction or have that number of transactions that they want. Right. And this is in page 14 in the shift book, that talk 13 and 14, that talks about the law of equilibrium. And the challenge that we see in most agents today is they don't see this coming. And when it comes, a lot of people get flushed out. And I want to ask another question, a quick question to everyone in this chat box. During the COVID-19 pandemic season in 2020 and 2021, how many of you know of any of your friends who were in the real estate business left the business? If you do, press 1. How many of you know someone that left the business in real estate? Press 1. Yeah. So that was a shift.
We've already had a shift.
It already shifted. And I predicted during the COVID-19 that at the end of the pandemic, there will be lesser people in the industry.
Right.
People will leave the industry. And as the market comes back in after the lockdown has been reopened and all that, suddenly you see more people coming back in because they are following the cycle. The idea is, as an agent today, how do I make sure that I still thrive in the shift, right? That's our conversation today. So I hope I kind of explained, Mariah, the idea of shift in the market.
Yeah, that's really helpful. I mean, you're saying it's a mix of like the financial crisis, political issues going on that will create like a big downturn in the economy. So then there'll be less money available, less transactions, less opportunities. So it sounds like there'll be a lot more competition really for the agents to kind of fight for those opportunities. Would you say that's right?
So this is the trick one. That's the trick question, Mariah. The thing is this, based on my observation, many people, the real estate agent business, they're not as competitive as many businesses outside there. What I mean is not competitive. Most agents don't put on the competitive mindset.
Okay.
And I'm asking everyone who's listening this call today in live on Zoom or live on Facebook is think about how to compete. Right? A lot of the traditional real estate agent thinking is a very passive thinking. I'll give you an example what passive is. The idea of I hang a signboard, I put up an ad, and I wait for someone to call me.
Right.
That's not competitive. I put more ads, well, a little bit more competitive. But if I go into the market and I call people and I make prospecting as my daily number one thing, every single day I'm going to call 10%, 20%. In my neighborhood, I'm going to call more than my competitor. That's competitive. And I see that not as frequent as I see those who are not so competitive, right? So the idea is competition is something that may be an advantage for us. Meaning we need to bring competition to the market. And I think there is so much opportunity today to compete and do more than our competitors, because a lot of traditional real estate people, they are very passive.
Okay.
So competition is I put more money on the ads, I compete with money.
Right.
But you may not win by competing with money alone.
Yeah.
In a shift market, you may actually lose more.
Okay. You have to be careful with how much you spend, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, when you mentioned this mindset, so what is the right mindset, as we think about the shift coming, what is the right mindset to have going into the shift, would you say?
I think the right mindset is you need to begin to think about what is it that I need to change. How can I be competitive?
Okay.
See, I think change and competitiveness is very critical in this shifting market. And change meaning you got to wake up in the morning and number one, you've got to make peace with yourself that the reality is not going to be the same as last year.
Right.
It's not going to be the same as previous years. It's not going to be the same. It's something going to be very different. And I'm going to figure out what is that different, and I want to do something about to change. Right. I think that's the first mindset, right? And I like it that you shared this morning about our 3 award winners. By the way, these 3 award winners became $1 million, did their best year ever during a shifting market, guys. when the market was locked down for 2 months, 3 months last year, people like Elaine Cow closed more transactions in their life than ever before. Why is that?
Yeah.
Why is that? And I think if you all dig down and ask her this question, is her mindset to want to make sure that she maintains that productivity. It's a mindset of changing. It's a mindset of I want to do even better, or I do want to do more, right? Being competitive. Even like Tim embark on journeying, selling industrial land very aggressively during these 2 years during a lockdown. They did better and they thrive better because the mindset, as to answer your question, the mindset is focused on changing. It's focused on changing for the better, changing because I want to make it, I want to achieve better, right? That's the mindset. I also see people change the other side, the other way. I have spoken to many agents after post-COVID, post-lockdown, right? And some of them tell me, I refuse to do anything. I just keep, they change, but what's the change? They change by being so passive. I'm waiting for the market to come back, then I'll come back again.
Right.
You have that change. And I'm not kidding you. There are so many people like that. Because they felt that nobody's going to buy a single thing in the last 2 years.
Right.
And they were so wrong. And it's so hard to come back into the market right now is because Suddenly there's three new agents that just came into the market and they thrived. And you find it very hard to come back and win the listings back again. So you change both ways. Either way, you will change. Either you change to be more passive or you change to be more active. But I hope all of us here are the latter, which is more active.
Right. I mean, so I hear you saying like, okay, so there's something, a struggle coming, but don't just sit there and like give up and, feel like, oh, poor me, but like, and you see the reality and embrace it and like, okay, I got to do something. I'm going to have to change. I'm going to have to, up my game or whatever and move forward.
Yeah, I want to just add one thing. The greatest mistake today, this I hope everyone listening, the greatest mistake you can ever make is thinking that you're waiting for the right time to take action. The greatest mistake in this shift that any of us can be making is thinking that we are waiting for the right time to take action.
Oh,
that's the greatest mistake that we can make. Because there's this mindset of I don't want to take action and lose something. I don't want to do something that is difficult. I don't do something that or may not give me the result. It's in fact by not doing anything. That's your greatest mistake because you are thinking that's the best timing to make things happen. And I think right now in the shifting market, any time is a good time. You should start doing it right now before it shifts.
Right. Wow. Okay, take action, guys. Let's move forward. But plan, right? Plan first and then take action. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, just now you're mentioning maybe something typical that agents will do is just do nothing. Is there anything else that agents might do that's maybe not helpful, like a response to the shift besides doing nothing? Is there any other response they make that's not helpful?
Here's one. Go to the mama shop and start complaining about everything else in the whole market. How bad the government is, how bad the system is, how bad the market is, why the agent more competitive, why the agent do so many videos, why the agent call all my buyers, why they steal here, steal. So the complaining part, right? I see many agents complain when they are just not willing to take action, more action, right? But they complain about everything. Stop complaining. Complaining do not bring you anywhere. Complaining does not help you achieve anything. Blame anyone. The only person you should blame is look at yourself.
Right.
You should wake up every morning and ask yourself, what do I not do enough? What should I change? So the idea of complaining on things that you cannot control, and expecting something to happen, is like you are trying to talk to the cow who don't understand you and trying to ask him to move faster. So good luck with that. Right, good luck with that, right? That's why they say Chinese say right? You play the piano in front of the cow, you expect the cow to appreciate your piano playing, right?
Who's the cow?
I don't know who's the cow, but what I'm saying is just don't complain. And this is the thing that I fall into the trap as well. Real estate agents, right? Because we have so much time, when agents have so much time, they go yam cha. And in the yam cha is called networking, but actually it's not networking, it's actually bitching and complaining about everything else. That's the kind of networking that most, I used, when I was younger in my agent days, I enjoy, right? It's fun, right? I'm asking all of us here to minimize that. Everybody's laughing, they understand what I'm talking about, right? And stop complaining and have conversations that is asking questions. How do we thrive better in the shifting market? How can we win more market share, right? So don't go sit down and complain and spend time talking.
Right. So you're just reminding me, I went for a training I had a short training on 6 personal perspectives one time with South Africa actually. And they said, okay, this is about accountability, right? So they said, okay, just think of one of your big struggles right now. What's your challenge? Okay. Take 2 minutes, just complain as much as you can. Complain about everything. You're so frustrated with complain. And then once the time was up, they're like, okay, now what are you going to do about it? And then they made us like sit down and take action. And it was like really powerful, I felt.
Yeah.
We can complain, but put a time limit on it and then move on.
Yeah. And also the other thinking is don't focus on your problem.
Yeah.
Because if you keep focusing on your problems, you keep focusing on your challenges, guess what's going to happen?
You're just going to get more. It's going to get bigger.
Right. So don't focus on that. Focus on what are you going to do to make things better.
Right.
There is a huge difference. Acknowledging the problem and focusing on what you want to do to make things better it's a very, very different thing than focusing on the problem.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Focus on making things better, get the solution. So,
Right.
all right. So, I mean, you've been an agent for a few years, right? I mean, in the past, you've been in the industry for a while. Have you been through any shifts in the past? And like, how did you manage it? What was your mindset? How did you cope with it? What did you do? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I entered the market in 2004 at a time of shift.
Okay.
The market was very, very slow when I entered the market in the first time. I remember interest rate was 6.75%. 6.5, 6.75%.
Not attractive.
Not attractive, but people and the market was still low. There were lesser stocks available in the market. There were lesser listings available in the market that I was working in. And that time the new prime minister decided to stimulate the market by abolishing RBGT. I still remember very closely. I think, but there was Abdullah Ahmad Badawi. That was the prime minister that was in power when I first entered the market. And there was an interesting shifting market. There was one shift. The second shift I experienced was around 2007, 2008. Then the next shift I experienced was around 2016, 17. And then, of course, after that, it's the COVID crisis. I think I went through at least 3 to 4 different kind of shifts. Different kind of shift. Some are smaller shift, some are high upshift. So 13 was an upshift. 11, 12, 13 was an upshift market. A downshift was probably 2004, but moving towards an upshift in 5 and 6, 7, it came 8, it kind of shifted down a little bit. So I went through ups and downs, kind of seeing some patterns, but the pattern that I'm seeing today is very different from what has happened before.
Oh, interesting.
Right.
Yeah. How is it different?
I think the difference is you are having so many problems hitting at one time.
Right.
Like if you walk around, okay, I'll give you an example. In all the crises that I've been through, right? When I walk to a shopping mall, there are still shops on. But if you go to a shopping mall today, you just walk into some of the shopping malls, even the bigger ones, have you noticed that some of them are empty lots right now?
Yeah, I saw that just this weekend. I was at the Curve and I felt very discouraged.
I have never seen so many small businesses close down.
Right.
Restaurants I thought they could never close down, closed down. Retail that thought that couldn't close down. There are malls I go to in town that used to have an anchor tenant, which is a grocery store, doesn't have a grocery store anymore.
Wow.
So if you think back, the impact of the current shift that we are going through the past 2 years and a new shift that's about to.
Oh. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Shoot.
Just give it a minute for him.
Certain countries,
Sorry.
or
Okay.
certain states, right, are even worse off than central region, right? So yeah, just think about it.
Wow. Okay, sorry, just now I think my Wi-Fi went off or something. I don't know what happened, but yeah. So I basically hear you saying that it's a more serious of a shift maybe that's going to happen now than what's happened in 2004.
So just I think I was asking you to repeat, but just think about the shopping mall that you were in the Asian financial crisis, in the global financial crisis 07, 08. And now, and you think about how many lot of shopping malls, retail lots are empty compared to last time, even during those crisis days. Right? Just think about it, right? The whole thing has changed. The whole landscape has changed, and the impact is rather different, and I think heavier in terms of load of complexity and a lot of pressure to run business. A lot of people cannot tahan. You are right. Correct.
I mean, myself hearing this, I get this like this kind of a panic feeling, right? I don't know if anyone's feeling this way, but it feels a bit scary, right? Thinking about this. So what can we do, like, so we don't just end up going the negative route and giving up or just complaining? What are some things that we can practically do and expect to have to change? You mentioned about making change. So what kind of changes will we have to make?
So on page 25, sorry, let me just give that 23 to 27. It's a very good chapter in the shift book, and it's talking about the first tactic, which is get real, get right. And the first thing is shift your mind, your mindset, your mental. And I want everyone to shift in a way that is positive. And you start by first asking this question: what is most important to you to achieve in your life right now? What's the big why right now? You got to remind yourself why you're doing what you're doing right now.
Right.
Right. I want you to take notes right now. Take time to think about that. And number two, ask your second question: what if things didn't work out? What will happen to my life and my business, my family, and all that? You ask yourself that question right now. And ask yourself, are you willing to accept that result if nothing changes? Are you ready to accept you cannot pay your loan? Are you ready to accept that you cannot pay your loan? Are you willing to accept that someone's going to tow my car away? Are you willing to accept that you cannot fund your children's education anymore? Are you willing to accept that you potentially, if there's a risk in your family for medical crisis, you have no funding to pay insurance and buy and pay and fund them? Are you willing to accept that? Now, there's a choice, by the way. It's a choice. All of us have a choice. Now, if you decided that you cannot accept this, which I hope all of us make that decision, then ask yourself, what must I change here to make sure that I'm not going to make that happen?
Right.
And the first decision that you likely need to make in your mind is, I need to change the way I think about things again right now. Shift that mental shift. I need to think about, how do I make this better? I need to think about cutting expenses. I need to think about prospecting first before marketing. I need to think about how many people I'm going to start calling every single day. I need to think about my new GPS. I hope you will lead to that right now.
Right.
I need to start thinking, balik kampung tanam jagung. Okay, that's a good solution as well. If you can feed your family, well done, Fifi. Mango is, I thought your kampung got mango. Mango more value. Okay, but think about that right now and ask yourself, are you willing to change? Because that's on you. You cannot change the economy. You cannot change the market. You cannot change the political scenario. Always try to change that, but that's just so much we can do. But you can change your mindset. Now get real with that. Understand the reality of not able to fund those things. Because whatever we do today, whether it's a lot or little, we have to use money to fund. You all agree that having income and money is necessary to fund the things that we need to do. Now, I'm not asking you the things that you want to do, the things that you need to do. Think about what you need, not what you want first. Right? When you get that mindset sorted out, you're clear, then you must think about, what are you ready to change? Now, when your mindset is clear that you want to change, the second thing happens. And I hope all of us manage to get to the second stage. The second stage is you begin to change your action. Because when you shift your mind, you must also shift your action. The action will be an illustration or an example or an indication or evidence that your mind has shifted. Because if the action does not shift, meaning your mind has not shifted yet. You think you have shifted, but you may not have shifted because it has not translated into action. I give you a very good example. If I use this on me all the time, and those who have listened to me for the past few years will know that likely I have not shifted my action. I'll give you an example. I always want to lose weight. At the end of the year, I'll tell my wife, I want to lose weight. And my wife was always encouraging and saying, we'll see how it goes. Right? And she always asks me a question, what's the big why? And I tell her what's my big why every day. But guess what happened after January 1st? Now, normally I have 7 days of fast in our church. We have a fasting season to start the year. And after that, what happens? I didn't shift my action. Because in my mind, I have not decided yet. And look at me, I have not lost weight enough, significantly enough to show that I've shifted. As a friend, I heard that for many years. Charles says it's true, but I'm very consistent, right? Yes, thank you very much, Charles. You're all very encouraging one, but thank you very much. But it's the truth. I have to get real and get right? I'm not making enough decision because my mind is not shifted enough. It's hard for me to turn away the roti chana. It's hard for me to turn away that thing, right? Because I have not shifted and the action has not shown.
Yep. because your love of the food is more than your that you just talked about it, right? It's like, what if I don't make the change, what's the negative repercussion, right? And can I accept that? Can I accept that? Right.
Correct. So in reality, you need to shift your actions. Now, I'll give back the perspective of business today. If you know the market has lesser buyers in the market, there will be more listings in the market but lesser buyers depending on the market you're in. But in general, you will have more stocks and less buyers in the market because the affordability to transact becomes more challenging. Meaning you need to learn, you realize that if I assuming today in my old GPS is 20 buyer leads per month to hit my 3 sales, and right now when I know that it's going to be a shifting market, what if I have to triple down on the lead generation to 60 buyers to hit 3 sales? Are you prepared for the kind of work?
Yeah.
Are you prepared for the kind of action that will determine you to increase your number of contacts and your leads? Because that's the way that will help us maintain back our sales right now. I'm not asking us to do 6 or 7 transactions, but can you imagine now, instead of 20 leads I'm generating a month, I have to generate 60 leads, right? What would that have? What is the activity and the action and the time that I need to spend to achieve that? It means something has to change.
Yeah.
Maybe I have to change my Netflix hour. Maybe I have to change sometimes in the morning that I can't do certain things, but I have to do this. Maybe I have to cut golfing session. I don't know who was playing golf here, but not saying that you should cut, but I'm just saying maybe you have to cut that, right? Maybe I have to find a way to lead generate faster. It could not be more time, it could be faster. Maybe I should find a way to lead generate faster and have a script that can talk to people in 15 minutes instead of 30 minutes. These are the things, the action shift that can happen. You got to think through your number. Now, the idea is if you don't know your number, you have a challenge in shifting because you don't understand your number yet. And you don't understand what is it that you need to do every single day to achieve a certain milestone or certain checkpoint. I think that's the danger part when you don't know your number. So you don't know how to scale up to hit your number. So I encourage everyone, the first action is go back to your GPS and start drawing it out again. Start drawing it out for the next 18 months. From now to the end of next year, I foresee that's where we are in a season of challenging moments between now and the end of next year. So start planning your GPS for the 18 months, or I don't know how many months, 4 plus 12, 16 months GPS right now. Start planning that way. Take action, right? And then you have to evaluate. And you've got to see, and you're going to ask people. The only way you can evaluate is ask someone, hey, Mariah, did I spend more time bringing more appointments or less?
Oh, okay. Just
right. Ask them to tell you this. So if I ask Mariah today, in my business, our business is all about appointments, right? To recruit agents, right? Groups or agents or whatever, right? So if I ask you, Mariah, today, this is a real question, Mariah. Did I change my approach and our approach in appointments? Do we have more appointments right now?
Like, seriously, yes. It has just suddenly like gone crazy.
Correct. So why? Because we changed our action. We shifted our mindset and said we need to do more. And how strategic? Do we spend more time? No, we spend about the same amount of time, but we strategize and talk to different kind of people and different strategy, right? And we change the way we look at things. And now we have more appointments than before, ever, because we were preparing for a shift since the beginning of this year. Right.
I can see how the consistent effort, like we didn't see it at first, right? But the consistent effort is finally like showing itself now. Wait, okay, I just want to go back. So I hear you saying, okay, start, with that big why, right? So think about, what do you need to achieve? What need to pay my housing loans, want to feed my family, take care of health issues, whatever. And then, that's your goal, right? And then, am I okay if I don't achieve it? Like really look at it, right?
Yeah.
And then hopefully, if you are, then you can just relax, like you said, right? You can just relax and then complain at the mama shop, and you're good to go. But if you're not, and you feel that burning, like I cannot go there, I will die, will not go there kind of thing, right? Then I have to go for this. So then you're saying, set up your GPS and start realizing what kind of changes are going to be required. How many more hours do I need to spend a day lead generating, or whatever it means, right? And you said focus, I heard you saying, focus on prospecting, right? Not so much on marketing, these kind of things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
and think about using tools. Why we design KW Activate from WhatsApp tool blasting is because that's to prepare for shifting market. Now you don't have to spend more time. You have to change the approach.
Right.
right? Change. And I remember telling some of the people that's involved in recruitment, I say, don't think about the perfect message. Think about the intense frequency and the number of people you're going to touch. So you can be so focused on the perfect message, but what if you touch more people with a simple message? So think about that, right? Think about talking to more people in a strategic manner that doesn't take more of your time. You don't have to change your entire life for this, by the way. There are a lot of tools available to help you. You don't have to go for multiple viewings, shot a 360. Why we think about shooting 360 is because you can have multiple viewings on Zoom before you see the physical house.
Right.
Think about that right now. Think about reaching your clients. Hey, Mr. Tan, I know you're busy at work. We have 10 minutes over lunch. Can I just show you over Zoom right now the property? Think about thinking like that. So when you have more opportunity, so imagine today, you are able to walk through 10 prospects for in a 360 Zoom call with the 360 listing, right? With 10 prospect every week, extra 10 prospect. And the weekend comes, you have appointments as well for physical. Would you have a higher chance of closing? Anyone in the chat box, please respond, right? If you are showing 10 to 15 people on Zoom every week, this particular listing, either it's primary or secondary market, and then the weekend comes, you filter and bring more people in for another appointment, physical appointment, would you increase your chance? Anyone, yes or no? Would you increase your chance?
Yes.
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 So why are we not doing that?
Yeah, we should really take advantage of all these resources.
So it's about being aggressive and competitive, right? Mr. Tan, I know you're busy this week, but now before you see the house at your convenience, can I bring this to you right now? In the next 10, 15 minutes, just jump on a Zoom call, you can see everything.
Yeah.
Right? Persistence over perfection, you're absolutely right. Perfection is the enemy, speed is your friend.
Yeah.
Do more, faster, more intense than any of your competitors, they will not stand a chance. Just focus on getting more and more appointments. It's a number game. Real estate is a contact sport. The more people you touch base, the more people you see, the more people you show the opportunity, the higher the chance you close the deal.
Yeah.
That's the magic. The magic is not about convincing them. The magic is about bringing the right people, meeting the right people. But you can only find the right people when you have a lot of people to find inside the right people, right?
Yeah. I heard earlier you made a comment. You said, you would ask me, Mariah, am I getting more appointments? Am I doing more? And it makes me think of the importance of the accountability relationship, right? And I'm just thinking that as we move into something like this, I think it's very easy for us to get discouraged, very easy for us to fall into bad habits. I'm just thinking how much more having those accountability relationships will help us to move, we make our goals, we set our goal of how many hours we want to do every day, have an accountability partner to check up on each other. Did you reach your goal today? Okay, let's make sure we do it tomorrow. We can reward ourselves, on Friday if we can meet our goal. Yeah, just curious your thoughts about this.
Yeah, so I think that the thing is this, for a very long time, this industry, for some reason, is dominated by people who thinks that it's supposed to be a solo journey.
Right.
It is dominated by some thoughts that individualism is the only way forward. And I'm here to break that barrier and say, I don't think so. I think we are not supposed to go through anything alone. Doesn't matter what happens in our life, tough times, good times, great times. We shouldn't go through it alone. We should be looking for help and asking people to help us. It is when we are at the moment where we need help is the best time for us to shift our mindset. Asking for help is the most important shift. Asking for help, asking for the right people, the people around us, and you'll be very surprised in our culture that a lot of people are here to help. And I give an example. All of us went to celebrate the awards on Saturday. We have 4 tables and a lot of agents were invited, and some were invited, and some were so happy and celebrating together, right? And some were inspired. How can we be like that? And how can we work together to hit that goal? I hit all those conversations on the table, right? Some people even said I will shave my hair bald if someone wins the award next year, right? So there's a lot of this camaraderie, and there's this lot of togetherness, and that's how we get through this together. The other I think is hold each other accountable, find an accountability partner, right? Not life partner, accountability partner. If you want to find life partner, also can, but accountability partner, and understand how we can work together to help each other out. Because when you help someone out, in retrospective, you might think that that's just an output, but actually the input will come later because there will be the exchange, right? And having more exchanges creates opportunity for all of us to go through this together. So I think we should not be alone on this. We should rise up and we should ask for help. Asking for help is necessary, is important. I ask for help all the time.
So good. Now I'm imagining we're gonna have a lot of botak people next year.
Yes, I
You
know.
can find your botak partner. Okay, if we reach our goal, we shave our heads. Who wants to do that? Okay,
sorry, I'm not willing to shift that way. Okay, I'm not willing to shift that way. Okay, so I'm sorry.
It'll be quite exciting.
Yes.
Okay, as maybe we have another 15 minutes or so. Any specific advice you have to those working in like project market or secondary market, commercial, industrial? And maybe we can just focus a little bit. Yeah, any ideas?
I think number one, read this book and focus on all the tactics that is relevant. I think one of the few tactics that you'll be going through is how do you price the property correctly. I think your number one thing, and I tell agents today, in the shifting market, pricing of properties is the most important thing.
Wow, okay.
So either you're in project marketing or you're in secondary market, right? You got to find what are the property that is priced correctly and price it correctly. A lot of times you'll be very surprised that owners, sellers, developers, or whoever who is holding the stock. Now, developers are a bit more challenging to price it again, but for secondary market, it's a lot easier. That you just need to find people that needs to sell now. Like they have no choice but to sell now. Right, and work with them. And my rule of thumb is if someone is interested to sell in the next 30, 60, 90 days, then that is the person that you're going to work with and journey with them in the season to help them price it ahead of the market. So focusing your life and your time in the next 8, 60, 14 months, doing one or two things like this would help you. If I challenge everyone in this room today, but if you just focus on one thing, the work is called one thing, not 10 things, just one thing. What would that be? So I was just having a coaching conversation with one agent last week. A lot of stuff, and I asked him, if you just focusing on pricing alone, just focusing every week, price one property correctly. At the end of 52 weeks, you have 52 price correctly property. Would you increase the opportunity of selling something? Because buyers are attracted to listings that is priced correctly. Right. Do you agree? How many of you agree that buyers will call you when you have something that is selling at a cheaper price? It's natural, right? Buyer want to buy low, owner want to sell high, agent want to sell fast, right? So if you just focus on that one thing every single day, every single week, you are so focused on that, right? You'll be very surprised what is the result that can happen. There's so many noise going out around, there's so many things happening, right? But you just focus on that one thing. I guarantee you will see success because of course, you have to market the listing and all that. But if you think about just thinking about having the listing that is priced correctly, you are already ahead of your competitor. Because going down to the market, by the way, it's not easy to price the property correctly. It's not easy, guys. It's challenging. Right. But if you do it enough, you will get good at it. Imagine you sit down in 20 appointments, listing appointments, and one say, yes, I will price correctly and give you exclusive. Would you have a higher chance of closing more transactions every day? So that's the one thing. I think focusing on the one thing that matters. Now, pricing is just one thing. There are many other things, right, that you can focus on depending on where your business is. But focusing on things that move the needle, and it has to be a measurable focus. It cannot be an immeasurable focus. So, for example, if I'm just focusing on posting things on Facebook, I cannot measure any outcome. I cannot measure, oh, would I increase my sales if I post this Facebook right now, this post right now? Would I get that now? No, I wouldn't. I would ask us to focus on things that you can move needles on. You can move the movement on. You can see progress. How many leads am I getting? How many appointments am I getting? How many owners do I have? How many listings do I get? You got to go back to basics. Normally, it's back to basics during a challenging time because you have to reset the ground. You have to reset the basic, right? I remember many years ago, I was also was involved in sports. This is during my primary school time. I was actively in sport. I don't know what happened after that, actively in other things. But I remember a coach once told me that if you don't do the basic drills every day, and I was playing for the state level in hockey, in field hockey, during my primary school days, and I remember my fitness coach. I always ask him, I say, why do you make it so difficult for me? Because I was the goalkeeper, by the way.
Oh,
So
okay.
the field hockey goalkeeper, you got to wear your suit, right? So when we are going through the Tuesdays, I believe, was fitness day. Meaning on Tuesday, we don't do anything else except fitness. So everybody has to like maybe 5-kilometer jog, 10-kilometer jog. We do a lot of exercise, a lot of sprintings and all that stuff, right? But there are 2 goalkeepers in the team, and we all have to drive out in our paddings when we do all these sprints and all that. And I asked the coach, why is it so unfair? Why is it unfair for me to do it and for other people who don't to wear all these things? It's heavy, right? It's hot, right? It's difficult, right? Why do you allow? So he said one thing. He said, you are wearing all these things to do your work, right? And if you do it without it, when you wear on it, you will not be strong. And if you don't focus on sprinting, you don't focus on this fitness thing, you are not building a foundation. So my point is, it's about building that foundation on the simple things.
Right.
A lot of people, and when you look at sports people, right, behind the scenes is the fitness regime that they go through. It's not the things, it's not the skill so much. The skill is just the outcome. The skills is just the output. The input for them is actually the fitness that they have to go through, the vigorous fitness that they have to drive, which is the foundation, the simple things. Calling an owner, meeting an owner is a simple thing. If you don't do this frequent and fundamentally enough, everything else doesn't really matter, if you ask me. So I hope I answered that question in a way.
Yeah.
Focus on the foundation stuff, things that can move the needles in terms of listing, leads, and appointments. You just have to focus on that. In our business, guys, it's not complex. You don't need to be a supermodel to sell property. I'm not. I'm a proven fact. Look at me, I'm not supermodel material, right? But during my peak time, I was selling 16 transactions a month because I focus on how many listings, how many appointments I need, how many leads I need. Just focus on these key things. And all the technology and the training that we have developed, focus on these 3 things. And people laugh at us and say, hey, that is so fundamentally simple. Guess what? Life is never complex. You want to achieve a lot of things, it's about appointments, listings, and leads. Nothing less than that, nothing more than that. It's just that, right? Hope I answered that question.
Yeah. You know, earlier, when you were sharing earlier about when you first started, you kind of started in a shift. And I was thinking, I wonder if that actually helped you to set your foundation well, because like you were not working in a time that's so easy. You can just sit there and put the sign up, people will come to you. You had to like work hard. And I was thinking that's one other mindset we can have, that, even as we go through something difficult, right? We are actually, and if we train our body, you mentioned this physical, like we put on heavier things, we make it more difficult for us so that we get stronger, right? And then later it'll be easier for us, actually.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. So I can stand up here and talk the whole day. You know why? Because 18 years when I started the business, I was enduring.
Yeah.
It was hard. It was difficult. It was difficult because the behavior that I took on bring me the obsession of wanting to do well in what I do in my business.
Right.
So maybe the question I ask, are you obsessed with your business? Are you obsessed and willing to do what it takes to achieve your goal? If you want to have a test in that, if you're staying with someone in your house, you go ask that person. I guarantee if you ask my spouse, am I obsessed with my work? I think she will answer yes. Would you say yes? Straight away, she's sitting next to me right now. Straight away, she will say yes. Right? So ask that question. Now you can still be obsessed and still have a good life and still think about how to counterbalance your life, right? But having that obsession of wanting to be doing what you can to make things work is important. Very, very important. Meaning I'm willing to stay up at night to watch the video, to go for training with Gary Keller until 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm willing to do that every day if I need to. Some of us will be going to mega camp tomorrow on Tuesday and Wednesday, and we're finishing at 4 a.m. in the morning. Next day we have to work. I'm willing to do that. I am willing to do that because I'm obsessed on hitting my goals. Are you obsessed? Is your behavior showing you that you're obsessed? And in this season of shifting market, that obsession is very critical. It's very important.
So good.
Right.
So, one last question for you. You mentioned the book, so probably that's going to be your recommendation. But like, what do you recommend those agents who want to embrace that change, right, and like be successful in this coming shift? Yeah. What do you recommend they do, and where do they start?
Right. Start number one. Draw out your GPS. Look at your current GPS. You need to change one thing. You need to change your conversion ratio. Change your lead to contacts, your contacts to leads, appointments. You change that ratio, right? Your GPS, maybe your GPS is maybe in your current goal. I just generally speaking, right? Maybe your current goal is 20 leads a month. You need to generate. Triple then down, triple and quadruple that.
Triple, are you sure?
Triple and quadruple that. You got to put yourself in a position. Okay, the other thing is you got to be so how do I say this? What's that word I can use? That you got to be so anxious, or not anxious. Anxious is the wrong word. You got to be very
like stressed.
Not stressed, but you got to be so afraid. You got to bring that fear of not being able to hit your goal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good stress, a positive stress.
Yes, you're going to bring that fear of, I'm afraid of not hitting my goal, because if I don't hit my goal, this happens, if not this happens, then what happens? You're going to bring the anxiety in a little bit here to help you go forward. So we are only motivated by two things: the way our business, our mindset, and our physical and our psychology is motivated is by pleasure or fear. And sometimes fear has a better motivation. Yeah. So if I tell everyone today, there's a new virus in town right now, and it's called the COVID-23 virus. And this virus, if you don't do a 5-kilometer run every single day, you will die. What are you going to do?
Yeah, you're going to run.
You're going to run 5 kilometers every day. That's the condition. If you want to survive this virus, everyone must run 5 kilometers a day.
Right.
All of us will run. Why? Because we fear for our life. We are motivated by fear more than pleasure, right? Use that positivity in that and say, I refuse to accept defeat. I refuse to not do better. I refuse to not thrive, because if I don't thrive, it's going to affect everything else in my family and my life and whatever that you're funding. Then I need to do more. So do more. Build yourself a muscle. All of us have better capacity than we think we have. Sometimes we think, oh, I can't do that, I can't do this. No, it's not you cannot do. It's do you want to do? Then go find a way. Maybe I don't have enough time. Great, I understand that. Some of us are parents, some of us are taking care of kids. I understand that. But ask yourself, what can you change that you can increase your capacity? The methodology can change. Technology can be used. I cannot talk to many people. Well, use KW Activate and talk to more of them. I cannot have more appointments. They'll use 360 and have online appointments. Change that mindset. Give yourself the ability to see that you have more capacity than you have ever seen before. The wonderful thing about being a human being is there's so much capacity that we have that we do not know. Wow. Like, give you an example today, the brain that we have, we are only using about 8% of it. The 92% is not 100% being used yet right now. You have so much capacity to think more. You have so much capacity to behave differently by changing your mindset, right? So think about that. Think about increasing the capacity. Think about changing the way I look at things and say, how can I get more done for less? And that's possible. Or get more done for more. It's up to you, right? But increase the capacity, increase that intensity, and increase that aggressiveness, because that's how we get out of a shift. So if you want to lose, have you seen people, you go watch Rocky, right? How he wants to lose weight and how he has to increase his capacity. That's a great movie. I encourage everyone to watch. Watch this movie. If you have Netflix, right? Watch this movie called Hustle. It's a great movie by Adam Sandler, talking about a basketball guy from Spain. How he's so talented, but he fundamentally has so much physical and physique issues that he has to build that stamina to go forward. to play the National Basketball League. Right, I'm not sure whether it's a real story or not, but it was a very good story. I watched that. My son was watching a little bit with me, and he saw how people has to hustle, how people have to work hard, right, to build that foundation and change his mindset.
Right.
So I think, but you increase your capacity, right? There's this fear of, oh, I cannot do more. It's not what you cannot do, is how can you do more?
Right.
What if you have to change? Maybe you have to drop certain things, maybe you have to cut certain, and there must be adjustments, guys. You have to cut something to gain something. You cannot gain something and still remain this. You can't. Something has to shift. There is a balance, there's a counterbalance. There must be that movement. Something has to shift, something has to go forward, right? So that's how I would encourage everyone. Think about the capacity, increasing your capacity in your GPS, not changing your goal, but changing the things that will help you hit your goal. Changing the formula. Maybe you need 10 appointments, now you need 30 appointments. Maybe after 30 appointments, 1 sale instead of 10 to 1 sale. When you build it that way, what will happen to you is that your muscle will be so strong and so powerful. When the market turns around, you will hit a breakthrough in your business. You will just skyrocket. So think of it that way. I'm not sure it makes sense to you guys, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. I hear you saying, like, look, if you want to embrace change and do well in the shift, set your GPS, set those goals, and like with the new numbers, right? And then shift your mindset, shift your daily life, your schedule, like make everything aligned, right, with this goal that you're going to go for, and just be so focused, so convicted, so let that fear like put the fire in you.
I want to give one last example to share this. I think this is a great point as you are talking about this, right? I remember in 2020 when we were in a lockdown and the whole regional team in KW Malaysia, we were scrambling to create more content for everyone. I don't know how many of you remember those days. We have 3 sessions a week, a day.
A day.
It's Monday noon and night. How many of you remember? If you all remember, please press 5 that we have 3 sessions a day. Right? Do you know, during that time, we recruited more agents than now? Do you know why? Because it did so much more. Now, it's not that we're not doing anything more. We're just doing, we have so much more engagement.
Yeah.
We have so much more engagement at time that we have 500, 600 people watching our Zooms every day, right? And they start asking us questions and start joining us during the COVID time. Because we did more that time. We actually doubled down, tripled down, before any one of our competitors were doing anything.
Yeah,
we moved. We took action. Were we good at doing what do you call it, training? I think we have so much opportunity to improve. Right. But we started first, right? We didn't know what to do. We just went in the Zoom, and then I remember Marcus was scrambling. How do I put the camera? How do I do this and all that? We just jalan first, right? We just take action first. We shifted our mind, then we shifted our action. There was an example. Yes, Fifi, you came in 1st April with the whole bunch of people, right? Because we shifted then first. Right. Now, if you have not shifted it this way, we don't earn the right to tell people to shift. Right. So you will see us shifting. Now we are shifting into technology. We are bringing technology because we want to help agents, right? So we are shifting as well. So that's an example of changing action, right? Taking the action that will help you achieve what you need to achieve by in this shifting market. I hope I answered that question, Mariah, but I know
so good. So good. No, I really appreciate it. I think, yeah, I love you. You also keep mentioning, it's not about being complicated. It's simple, but it takes a lot of hard work. So just the reality of that. Right. Okay, I just want to share that, this is the first of many sessions we're going to be doing on shift. We're going to be going all these things that Jonathan's mentioning about pricing the house, pricing the property correctly, how to stand out apart from the rest, and how to really double down on prospecting. We're going to go into detail in this in the coming weeks. So please come and, join us for those and all that. I would like to ask everyone to just think, what is one aha that you take from this conversation? There's like so many gems that were spoken today. Can you type in the chat something that you got from today's message, just that we can have a summary, and then we will help each other, right? By doing that, we're actually helping each other, inspiring each other to keep in our mind. Because when we just sit here and listen, right, you just listen to someone to talk, you'll forget 95% of it probably. But if you take the time to write it down, you take the time to share with somebody, your brain will literally hold on to that thing and you'll be able to put it into practice. Yeah, so let's just have a list now. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, while you guys are writing these down, I would like to ask for the announcements. Let's go through some announcements. All right. So can we get the announcement slides to come up while we're waiting for these? I love these. Okay, I'll read some of these while we're waiting. We have perfection is foe, speed is a friend. Well, that's good. Yeah, we want to stay away from perfection.
No, right? Don't cut your hair. Don't cut your hair to move something. Okay, just cut the hair.
Okay, so next, yeah, this is season 4 coming up. We have all the sessions listed here. So next week we have Jonathan, Joanne, and Waki coming to join us. We're going to be talking about seller staging strategy. It's going to be awesome. These people have really gone far with this, using some of our tools. So please come and join us and hear about how you can also, improve your business by joining this. All right, next message. Next slide. Yes, database bootcamp. Whoa! All right. I know some of you already signed up. I'm excited. We're gonna have this our second one. Last one got sold out. Don't forget. This one we have a limit of about 50 over people that can come. So please sign up quickly before you no chance already. So just to let you know, the early bird price is 229. That's until 26 August or until there's no space. Just FYI. Yeah. So this is the time to come in. You just bring your phone with your contacts and your laptop, and we will sit down. You'll have a coach with you at your table, and we will help you to just sit down, take the time to create your database and put all the tagging you need, and also create a smart plan. We're going to do more about smart plans this round, and so that you can really do that prospecting and message the people in your database, people that you haven't contacted in many years. You'll be surprised. They will answer you. Some will answer you. We had so many testimonies last round of this happening. Okay, thank you. Let's the next slide. Yes, we have the value stories. These are great to like and share on Facebook. Let everyone know, all the things that we have available, and you can grow your growth share tree. Get other agents to come and join us. Okay, next one. Client touch points. So we have these also every week. These are for you to download and to share, on WhatsApp or whoever with your clients, or your potential clients. You can use this for prospecting as well. Yeah, and people will respond. So thank you so much. I think that's the end of our announcements. So just want to come back to John. Yeah. So as we just close up this session, any final words from you, John?
Just want to share a quick recap story. I was thinking just now what story I want to share to close this conversation. And I was reminded about there was a moment during the COVID-19 season, I think somewhere around somewhere at the end of 2020, I was having a lot of doubts. I was having a lot of concerns about how we're going to pull through, how we're going to go ahead. And I remember there was a moment where that time was where the school, my son's school, was already sending reminders about paying the fees in November. I still remember that time. And I asked myself this question. I imagine if I couldn't pay that money. I imagine if that the time I didn't have the money to pay, because we all took a pay cut during that time. I took a pay cut during 2020. I took a pay cut in 2021 as well, right? Just to make sure that all of us pass through. And I remember thinking what would happen if I couldn't pay my son's school fees. And it was scary, and I tell myself it's not going to happen. I will find a way.
Wow.
And I found a way. I found a way, right? So what my story to everyone here today is this, that there's no solution that's too big that you cannot solve. There's no problem that's too big you cannot solve, especially when it's money problem. I know sometimes the money problem becomes very difficult, very challenging. But if you just change your mindset, you just start looking at different things and start saying that I'm not accepting no or defeat as a outcome, and I'm going to do something about it, it will change. You will change. You will see that there will be changes that will happen. There will be opportunity for you to do certain things that you can do to make something happen. So my encouragement to everyone is in this shifting market, even before it's coming right now. There you go. Paul is making a right call. He's asking people, you have opportunity, right? Come over here right now, right? He's taking action today. That's just an example of what action you must take. Take opportunity and do something about it. Thank you. Well done, Paul, for a good opportunity to just reach out to people, right, for help. by asking them to help you sell your projects, right? So think about what you can do. Don't think about what you cannot do and what is the bad outcome that has happened. Sometimes we dwell on the things that we cannot change and cannot do. I focus on what I can do. There was a moment I was dwelling on it. There was a moment, and all of us will have that moment. But it's very important to use that moment to feel, F-U-E-L, feel what we need to do to take action to stop that. My son is still in school. I have not paid him for school fees yet till now. I'm not going to let that happen. So my encouragement to everyone here today is that be open and be clear about what you must do and must achieve. And don't be afraid and not dwell in the things that you cannot control, but focus on the things that you can control and take action. I promise you, you will live a very fulfilling life. And after the battle, one of the best things that you can do, you will achieve, you will feel, is at the end of that battle, when you find that you are able to cross the line, to finish line, or that race, you cross the finish line. It is very satisfying. And you become to be stronger, your resilience will build, you'll be a better version of yourself. And I hope to see everyone at the end of this shifting market to be a better version. I'm looking forward for so many stories. Some of our agents you saw yesterday, on Saturday, took the award, was the best year in their whole entire career in a shifting market. I wish I see more of you here like this, right? So I wish you all the best, and thank you so much for being part of this conversation. Thank you, Mariah, for your time as well.
I say, 加油! Let's go, everyone. We can do it. Thank you, everyone, so much. I really appreciate you all being here. And I forgot to mention, if you want to order the Shift book, you can send an email to hello@kwmalaysia.com. Thank you for joining us. I hope you will all tell your friends about this session, this series. You can invite anyone that they don't need to be in KW to join. They can sign up with the link and they can join next week. Come and join us. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.